Good morning, students. In last class, we have discussed about interaction. I will give you a quick look of yesterday's class. We have discussed about interaction model, failure model. In interaction model, we have discussed about what computer clocks, events, and variants of interaction model. Here we have two variants in interaction model. One is synchronous. This is in this synchronous distributed system. We have there is no time limits. It is very hard to set the time limits. In asynchronous, there is no time bounds. Coming to the event ordering, I have explained one diagram. That is real-time ordering of events, which has to ordering of events is very important. Ordering of events is very important. Here in this diagram, M represents message, D XYZ XYZ represents inputs. Here the diagram represents the inbox of user A, the item number from which station, from which system, ZXY, the subject of the description, the description mentioned there. Next, we have discussed about three type of failures: omission failures, arbitrary failures, and timing failures. This is the diagram represents the classification of omission failure and arbitrary failure. After that, we have discussed about timing failures and masking failures also. In today's class, we are going to start the next model, the last one, that is interaction model we have completed. Next model is failure model we have completed. The last model is security model. Here, the security of the distributed system can be achieved by securing the processes and the channels used their interactions and by protecting the objects. Here, we need to protect the channel, and as well as we need to secure the processes. Okay, we can in this connection we need to protect the objects. Okay, we need to protect these processes, objects, and channel against the unauthorized persons. See, this is how we are protecting the objects in the distributed system. Here in this one we have objects and principals. Here the principal user, this is the client is the principal user. Both are users, client and server. Here, upon client invocation, the server will respond. Here, see, first the client upon requesting, see the invocation sent from client to server. The server will not immediately respond to the client's invocation. What it will do, it will check the access rights. It will check the access rights, whether this client system is able to access the information or not. Okay, first, it will check the access right here in the server machine, and the server will give result to the information to the client. See here, what they mentioned here, we can use access rights that define who is allowed to perform operations on an object. Here in this diagram, the client wants to perform an action on particular object. Here the server needs to check whether this client is allowed to perform operation on the object or not. Okay, it will check the access right. Then the server should verify the identity of the principal user, that is the client, and it will allow the permission to perform the operation on the object. Okay, then only first the requested operation on the given object is not directly permissible. It will check the access rights and thereafter it will give the access on the requested object. See, enemy. Here we have two processes. What the enemy will do, most of you people is knows this diagram well. In cryptography and network security, in between the sender and receiver, who is there? The enemy. Unauthorized person will be there in between the sender and receiver. Here, see in this diagram, we have process P and process Q. This is the communication channel between process P and Q. The message M is transmitted from process P to Q. Here, what the enemy will do is, the enemy will copy. He will not stop the message. He will not interrupt the message. What simply he will copy the message M. See, he will copy the message M and kept at the enemy. Okay. See, the model security threats. Here, what same information which is passed by process P, the same copy of information with the will be kept at the enemy. Defeating security threats. This is security channels. Here we are having two users, that is principal A and principal B. Principal A process at principal A is running process P. Principal B is running process P, process Q. These needs to be communicated over a communication channel. This communication channel must be secure. This communication channel must be secured. For that, what we need to maintain? Encryption, authentication. Okay, these are the security services. Encryption and authentication are used to build the secure channel. You know about security services, right? Encryption, authentication, all these are comes under the category of security services. Here we are using to build a secure channel, encryption and authentication. Here each process knows the identity of the principal. Here the principal is nothing but the user. Okay, on behalf of other process is executing and check their access right before performing an operation. Okay, this is how the secure channel will work. Okay, this is about security model. Only it will deals with the, it will protect, security model will protect the processes, channels and objects. Okay, here it will deals with the access rights. This diagram represents the access rights. This diagram represents the enemy, and last diagram represents the secure channel. Okay, in this diagram, in this particular diagram, we are securing the channel. In this particular diagram, it represents the enemy. It will copy the information. Here, in this access rights. In this, we are dealing with access right. Okay, this is all about security model. Okay, so far in this architectural models, we have discussed about client server models, alternative models. Okay, in the fundamental models, we have discussed about interaction model, failure model, and lastly, secure model. Okay. See, the final this is about your first unit. Okay. So far, we have discussed in this unit. This is your first unit, unit number 1. That is characterization of distributed system, which I am highlighting here. Characterization of distributed system. In the first one, we have discussed about what is a distributed system and what are the examples of distributed system. And after that, how the resource sharing and how the cooperation and how the coordination among the systems. After that, we have discussed some challenges of distributed system. That comes into the first part of the first unit. And thereafter, we have started the second part in the system models. In the system models, we have discussed about in the introduction, what are the distributed system models. In those, we have discussed about architectural models. In the architectural models, we have discussed about software layers, system architecture, variations, and the design requirements of distributed architecture. And thereafter, we have started fundamental models. The last one, the fundamental models, we have discussed about 3 models. That is interaction model, failure model, and lastly, security model. Okay, this is all about the first unit. That is characterization of distributed system. Okay. Next, we are moving to the next unit. That is inter-process communication. In the inter-process communication, in tomorrow's class, we will start this inter-process communication. Okay. I will today I will share the PPTs, whatever I have presented, and as well as material along with that PPT, and I will send along with assignment questions for the first unit also. In tomorrow's class, we are going to start the second unit, inter-process communication.